iPhone 12 mini is nearly perfect, but it has two fatal flaws. One that is subjective to me and a few other people, and then one that basically everybody confirmed. So let's go ahead and dive in. This is probably the most exciting iPhone Apple has made in years, probably since they supersized the smartphone with the iPhone 6 Plus back in 2014. But this time around, it's a really small phone, which no one else is really doing. The first thing you're going to notice about the iPhone 12 mini is that the relationship you have with your hands will be very different. For the past 5 years, I've been used to using supersized smartphones with two hands. But with this, I can control everything with my thumb. I can reach every part of the screen quite easily. So whether you're at home or you're out walking, there's just something really refreshing and very pleasant about being able to control the iPhone one-handed. Speaking of the screen, it is a marvel. Super dark blacks and a high contrast rate make this OLED panel pop. Isn't that right, Twilly? And the high resolution means it's incredibly detailed and sharp. However, this is where the first fatal flaw of the iPhone 12 is, because it doesn't have a 120Hz refresh rate. Now this is quite subjective, but I and a lot of other people would really like to see a 120Hz refresh rate. You know, I've used the competition, the S20 FE had an incredible display, so even if you're just browsing through apps or reading email, it just felt incredibly snappy. Now Apple has made some changes to iOS 14 with their animations to try and evoke that feeling of it being fast and fluid. However, it just doesn't come close to the natural 120Hz refresh rate. Now look, not everybody needs a high refresh rate screen. You know, you might not want one and you might not have even seen one before. And if that's the case, then you can totally disregard this criticism. The trick though is making sure you never see a high refresh rate screen, because once you see one, you will want one and you'll never be able to go back. Now I'm tied into the Apple ecosystem, but after using the Galaxy S20 FE and adoring the high refresh rate screen on it, I'm making a commitment. I will not be buying a new iPhone until Apple puts a high refresh rate screen into it. That's how strongly I feel about this issue. In terms of performance, this iPhone is fast, super fast. From the A14 chip that can easily edit video to the ease of using AR and even the comprehensive 5G radios built in, the iPhone 12 mini is no slouch. Games like Among Us and Lara Croft Go ran great, and unlocking your phone with Face ID is fast, as long as you're not wearing a mask. Speaking of Face ID, I would have really liked to see Touch ID return to the iPhone 12, as it did on the iPad Air. Now, I wouldn't have liked it like the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE where it's built into the screen, because when I used that, it didn't feel quite accurate. If they were to implement a Touch ID, I would have really liked the iPad Air version where it's built into the power button. I already did a really comprehensive video about the camera system on the iPhone 12, but it really can take some incredible photos and videos, and I do have some interesting tidbits to share. For starters, I actually think the front-facing camera on the Galaxy S20 FE is sharper than it is on the iPhone 12. There's less noise during the day. Even outside, there's less noise on the Samsung than there is on the iPhone. However, I do prefer taking selfies on the iPhone because the portrait mode is far better than its Samsung counterpart. But where the iPhone really blows the Samsung out of the water is when it's video recording with the rear camera and the Dolby Vision HDR. What I was able to do with the rear camera in terms of video recording was just absolutely incredible. While the camera system has made leaps and bounds, it's still bound by one thing, needing a lot of light. If you take videos at night time in low light, it's going to be as questionable as ever, no improvement, and I really don't like the ultra wide angle lens on this. I actually hate it. You know, I would have preferred Apple just get rid of it and have a one camera system to reduce some costs. Or if they just put the telephoto lens into it as the second sensor. The ultra wide angle lens is not particularly sharp and it needs even more light, meaning it's practically useless at night time. Speaking of low light, I love night mode on the iPhone 12. It's implemented so much better than the Galaxy S20 FE because it shows you a live preview. I did a test at 2 AM in pitch black and I was able to see what I was looking at on the viewfinder. It's really low quality, but you can see what you're looking at. Whereas with the Galaxy S20 FE, you kind of have to point your phone in the right direction and hope for the best. But there is one thing we need to talk about: battery life. Yes, the fatal flaw of the iPhone 12 mini that absolutely everyone agrees upon is that the battery life on this is absolutely trash. If you use your phone a fair bit, which a lot of people do, you're going to struggle to get to the end of the day with some battery life. And what really worries me here is that in 2 years' time, when the battery life is going to be less effective anyway because it's aged up, I don't know how bad the battery life is going to be then. If you plan on getting one of these, my recommendation is to put the low power mode into your control center and enable it at all times. But while it lacks in battery life, it makes up for it in really everything else. The speakers and microphone on this are great. Loud, clean sound with a surprising amount of bass from such a small phone. Phone call quality is also improved from previous iPhones, and iOS 14 is still a really great operating system with seamless pairing with your accessories, from AirPods to your car's Bluetooth system. I don't even think I mentioned the design of the iPhone 12 yet, which of course is absolutely sexy. It has really great edges, a really thin bezel on the display, so it's very pleasant to use. Even the notch in the center of the screen isn't that distracting, in fact you'll barely notice it. The iPhone 12 mini starts at €816 for the 64GB unlocked version. However, I recommend you at least get the 128GB version that is €864, because those Dolby Vision HDR 4K files are going to eat up your storage like crazy. If you're looking to get a new smartphone this year, or you're an Apple fan, the iPhone 12 mini is one of the most compelling iPhones that Apple has ever made in a very long time, and that's saying something. However, if you need a lot more battery life, I recommend you get the bigger iPhone 12. But if you're open to carrying it in a case that has a battery in it, like a Mophie or even Apple's official cases that have batteries in them, or you'd carry a battery bank, the iPhone 12 mini is a really superb choice. If you liked the review, do drop a comment below and let me know what you think about the iPhone 12 mini, or if you're planning on getting one. If you have any questions about the iPhone 12 mini, do let me know. But if you liked the video, do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for future uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
I stand by you when you're falling, when the river is calling.